I fasted and was off the internet for 36 hours, and here's what happened. Alright, so before I start this video, I should probably let you all know that I documented the whole process, like the whole 36 hours. And when I was editing the video on my phone, I use InShot to edit. And when I was editing the video, the thing crashed and I lost a 17-minute long video. So I've resolved to do this now, and I'm just going to explain what happened instead of getting to show you all what actually happened. So apologies, and the video is late by like a day or so. So yeah, I'm sorry about that. Alright, so let me give you all the backstory. Why did I do this? For those of you who know me or follow me on Instagram, must know that I recently had my birthday. And I was thinking of things that I could gift myself and get for myself. And I considered multiple things. I considered books, but I have amazing friends. They got me like a ton of books. Like I got the books that I really wanted to read. So got like Dune, Anti-Fragile. Jesus Christ, there's a lot of books. Ego is the Enemy, and also The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So yeah, thank you for everyone that bought me books. I really appreciate it. And also, oh wait, hold up. And my sister also got me this, The Art of Learning by Josh Waitzkin. So yeah, I was out of options there. I couldn't buy any more books like this. That was basically my to be read list for like the next few months. And then I started thinking about novel experiences. Like, is there something that I could, buy for myself that I can experience? And I considered a few things, but then we had a party at my place and I broke the bank. I did not have a lot of money left. But then I thought about this thing that my friend had spoken about recently. So he does these 36-hour fasts, and he completely goes to like a new place and does these silent retreats. His name is Frank, for anyone that's wondering, and he put me onto this. So he's like, you should give it a try once, and I did. I was like, okay, that's a novel experience. I can try it out. Let's see how it goes. Doesn't cost any money, so might as well give it a try. So here's what happened. Alright, so one of the most important reasons that I was doing this was because I had to take some time off from my just daily life to really sit down and reflect about a few things. I really wanted to take some time off from, say, using my phone, talking to people. I didn't talk to a lot of people. I just spoke to my parents like once or twice throughout the whole thing. There was not a lot of input that was going in. So I had a few things to consider. One of them was the concept of maturity. As some of you all know, I turned 21 recently, and so technically I'm of the age of marriage and things of that sort, right? But it doesn't feel like it. So I still feel like I'm in my teenage years, right? There's not a lot of responsibilities that I have. My mouth gets me into a lot of trouble because I just do not have a filter. I joke at the most inappropriate of times. So yeah, I really had to sit down and really, think about what maturity means to me, and how I would have to start changing a little bit. As I was saying, before my dog so rudely interrupted me, I was considering the ways that I need to change and adapt to this environment around me and to the people around me. Probably have to be a little more responsible, a little more mature. I do not know what that is, or at least I didn't before I started this. I do not claim to have all the answers right now, but I have a better understanding of it at least. So that was one. Second was what masculinity meant to me. So what does being a man mean? It's not a very good time for so I really had to think about what masculinity means to me and the meaning of being a man, right? So these were two very important things that I reflect about over the course of these 36 hours. And yeah, so I mean, I did come up with a few answers for myself, but that's another video of its own. So I'll put that aside for now, and we'll get to what happened in these 36 hours. So the first 12 hours started off a little rough because as soon as I started fasting, which was at 8 p.m. on the 11th of September, I turned my phone off. So my phone was going to be off until 8 a.m. on the 13th. Yes, that's right. That's 36. Yeah. My brain's barely functioning. And what happened was my parents wanted me to pay for the streaming service that they really wanted to watch a movie on. And I tried to explain to them that I can't turn my phone on right now because I'm doing a 36-hour fast and not using my phone. And they were like, what the fuck? Why? And I'm like, I don't know. Just, it's not negotiable. Alright, there's nothing I can do about it. And it wasn't an argument, it was like a banter that we had. They were a little disappointed. They're like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? But yeah, I finally convinced them that I cannot turn my phone on and then just stepped away from that situation. Other than that, the rest of the first 12 hours were a breeze. Like absolutely no hunger because obviously I just had like food right before 8 p.m. struck. And I had pretty good food as well, so wasn't complaining. So I got to my room and I cleaned my room up because we had a party here and this place was a mess. So I cleaned the room up, arranged my closet, had a shower, things of that sort. Just tidied up my room, right? Other than that, nothing in the first 12 hours were very memorable, I wouldn't say. I journaled a bit at night, tried to meditate, but then found I was extremely exhausted, so just passed out and went to bed. So the first 12 hours was super easy because I slept through most of it. I slept for I think 10 hours or so. Alright, so the next 12 hours, which was from 8 a.m. on the 12th to 8 p.m. on the 12th. What happened during this time was the morning was super easy. I woke up at around 10 or so, got around to doing my morning routine, which is meditation, some breath work, some journaling, I did not read early in the morning because I was not supposed to be reading as well, or at least that's what I thought. And I was like, you know what, it's going good. I sat down to journal and I journaled for nearly 3 hours, and I really thought about these things that I wanted to reflect on, and it was going great. I had a beautiful time journaling, just thinking about these things, came up with actionable things for me to do or start implementing into my life from now on. And yeah, it was a good time. And somewhere around 1 p.m. or so, I was trying to be more mindful about what I was feeling, things of that sort, right? And what happened was I found out that at around 1 p.m. I suddenly had the urge to eat something. I was like, oh Jesus, I completely forgot I was on 36-hour fast, and I immediately started thinking, shit, gotta eat something. I'm really hungry. And I remember having a packet of cup noodles in my house, and I immediately thought of, oh shit, I really need to eat that packet of cup noodles, right? But I stopped myself. I'm like, hold up, wait, I'm not that hungry. So where is this coming from? And the more I thought about it, I realized that food, to me, for the majority of the times that I feel hungry and I eat, it's a mental stimulant. So my body doesn't necessarily need it at that moment. Like I'm not extremely hungry to the point where I'm like, oh, just I need to sustain my body, but it's rather something that gives me a quick dopamine hit, right? So that's one of the biggest breakthroughs that I had when it comes, not breakthroughs, but you get it. So after nearly 3 hours of journaling, I was like, what do I do? I have so much time to kill. I'm going to go fucking insane if I keep just sitting away and doing nothing. So I was like, alright, you know what? I'll let myself read. I'll let myself read whatever I want to read. Fuck it, doesn't matter, right? So I sat down to read this book, Dune, by Frank Herbert. This book is fucking mind-blowing. It is really freaking good. And it was very apt for me because the protagonist of the story is also dealing with, he's coming to terms with his maturity, his masculinity, assuming leadership, things of that sort, right? So it was very apt for me to sit down and be able to read this book, and the storyline's fucking beautiful. Like y'all have got to check it out. The movie's coming out pretty soon, so if y'all are not big on reading, I can just watch the movie. And then I think I read for nearly 2 hours or so, and was extremely tired. I was like, you know what, I'll just pass out. So around 4 p.m. I decided to nap. I did not wake up until like 6 p.m., which was a mistake. It'll come back to bite me in the ass later. But yeah, I generally nap for 30 minutes. But this nap, I was extremely tired for some reason, and I was passed out cold for 2 hours. After which I went downstairs to get some, to fill up my water bottles and just sit down and maybe journal some more or meditate, whatever it was. And found out that my sister's gift had arrived. So, not sister's gift. The gift that my sister was giving me had arrived. So, The Art of Learning by Josh Waitzkin. I was like, screw it, I might as well start reading this book. And I read it for a while. I've not covered much. I think 50 pages, so probably an hour or so. Yeah, so did that. And then around 7 p.m. ish, I was like, okay, I still have 12 hours to go, 12 to 13 hours to go. Let's kill some more time. I had few movies downloaded on my laptop. So let's screw it, let's watch a movie. And I watched 1917. So yeah, I wasn't hungry during this time. I think I thought about food probably 4 or 5 times, and that was pretty much it. There weren't a lot of times where my body was, oh, I really gotta get food in me. It was a slight discomfort. I call this the 4-hour hunger window. So basically, after 4 hours, the kind of hunger you feel, it's the same kind of hunger throughout the whole thing. Like, I did not feel any extra pain or like discomfort in my body. So yeah, that was the second 12 hours. So the last 12 hours, that is post 8 p.m. on the 12th, were super relaxed. That's all that comes to mind. I wasn't necessarily agitated. I didn't want to get food in my system. And after 8 p.m. I was not hungry at all. Again, which is super confusing to me. I'm like, how is this happening? Like, my body doesn't need any sustenance right now. So that completely baffled me. At around 10 p.m. I went to bed, woke up the next day, and still no hunger. I'm like, what is going on? Is my body broken? Because the thing is, I did not read anything about fasting before doing this experiment. So I have absolutely no experience fasting before, or I've not heard as to like what happens when you actually fast. Like, are you hungry all the time? Like, is food on your mind constantly? But that wasn't the case for me, which was surprising. So yeah, I woke up at 7 a.m. Went to drink some lime juice. And just squeeze the lime in some hot water, threw some salt on that, and just drank that to prime my stomach to get some food in. Right after that, I went to get some fruits for myself so I can break my fast with fruits. Got some guavas, some sweet limes, some grapes, and I was expecting. So at 8 a.m. when I sat down to eat, so I expected the fruits to taste so heavily that I'd probably jizz in my pants or something. But that didn't happen. The food was really like bland. Like, it was the same food that I've always had. Like, I expected my body to like go crazy over like food again, but my body was like, yeah, sure, whatever. I mean, I could have gone for a couple of more days if you had not given me this, but thank you, I guess. It really confused me because I'm eating the guava and I'm like, I thought like it was supposed to taste better. Like, don't you like, doesn't your tolerance for food increase or something? But didn't happen. It just didn't happen, man. So yeah, that's how I broke my fast. I broke it with some fruits, and then about an hour or so later, what I was craving the previous day was the noodles, right? That's what I had. I was like, screw it, might as well give myself a treat. And I had the nastiest, highly processed noodles I could possibly get my hands on. So I guess not a happy ending, huh? Alright, so let me get into the lessons I've learned in these 36 hours. Like, the biggest takeaways that I took away from this. Oh, Jesus Christ. Why am I doing this to myself? So, lesson number 1, suffering is mostly mental. What does that mean? What the fuck does that mean? What it means was, before I experienced the 36-hour fast, I always expected my body to go crazy. I thought like it was going to hurt a lot. It was going to be super uncomfortable. My body was going to be in a lot of discomfort. But turns out it wasn't the case. I think I had a very strong resolve going into this, and I thought, okay, for the next 36 hours, I'm not going to tempt myself with food at all. I'm just, if I think about food, I'm just gonna notice it and just let it pass. I'm not gonna dwell on it, right? And I think that mentality going into this was very important because there was barely any suffering. Like my body was completely fine. It was functioning just as well as it would have if I didn't have any food in me, if not better, right? So it just goes to show that sometimes, like when you think you are dependent on these things, just take some time off. Like take some time off, and maybe you discover that hey, it's not as important to you, or it's. I'm not saying food is not important, guys. Do not quote me on that. But I'm just saying that there's no need for you to be constantly worried about it, right? Which takes me to the second lesson. So, lesson number 2: stop stressing about food. If I'd only done this before, I would have stopped stressing so much, because as a person, I'm constantly worried about my calories, my macros, because as soon as I'm up, I gotta rush to my kitchen to get some eggs and like get some protein in. I've perfectly timed out my meals. I gotta hit my calories for the day, which I'm sure is a good thing. Like it's not a bad thing to be like timing your meals and counting calories and spacing like your protein intake out throughout the day. It's not a bad thing. But would I be as stressed about it now that I know what I know because of the 36-hour fast? Absolutely not. Because I know that my body is gonna be completely fine. Especially for us who are privileged to be having like 3, if not more, meals a day. I think it's completely okay to skip a few meals because like your body is going to be functioning perfectly all day. Just don't make a habit out of it. Again, don't quote me on this shit. Don't make a habit out of skipping meals. Meals are important, but it's just that for me as a person who was constantly micromanaged my meals and my macros and my calories and things of that sort, it's okay. It's completely alright. You're going to be just fine. Moving on to lesson number 3: make time for solitude. I think as a person that really loves his alone time and really loves being alone with my thoughts and just spending time with myself in my head, I had forgotten what it felt like, right? Because looking back on these 36 hours, I realized that some of the best time that I had in these 36 hours were just me staring into space, lost in thought. And I think solitude and just spending time with yourself is very important because so many things bubble up to the surface that you would have otherwise completely ignored with all the clutter you're being bombarded with. Like there's so much information and there's so much going on around you that sometimes you completely miss out on the things that really do matter that's in your head, right? So yeah, because I strongly believe that if you reduce your external clutter and noise and things of that sort, immediately you start listening to like what your inner self sounds like. Oh Jesus, let me pull the woo-woo alarm. But your body is always trying to tell you something. Your mind's always trying to tell you something. There's always some problem under the surface, always something that's been swept under the rug, as my friend Frank would like to say, that comes up. It inevitably comes out if you give it some time and some space in your day. So yeah, that's lesson number 3. Lesson number 4: be bored. What the fuck does that mean now? I think as a species, we've completely worked this out, right? Like we are almost never bored. Like in the words of Bo Burnham, apathy is a tragedy and boredom is a crime. There's almost no time these days to be bored, and I strongly believe that there's very profound merit in being bored because there are so many research studies that have been done on this. I'll actually link like a Veritasum video that talks about this. But boredom is so important for creativity and just healthy functioning of mind, right? Like if you're constantly, again, like I said, bombarded with information, with constant dopamine hits, like you're gonna be desensitized to it someday. I mean, if you're not already. So just being content with your thoughts and just letting your mind wander is very important because I strongly believe that there's not a single problem in this world that cannot be solved if you were just bored. Oh God, this is a recipe for me getting cancelled, isn't it? Like it makes it like it makes like really big problems seem like completely futile. But anyway, I digress. There's almost, at least for me, from what I've experienced, guys, I'm speaking from personal experience here. There's almost no problem in my life that hasn't been solved by me just being bored, because the solutions tend to crop up. Like you gotta let your mind wander and think about these things. You've got to give these problems some time throughout your day to just let it float out there, and then eventually the solutions come in some magical fucking way, right? Or maybe there definitely is like a scientific explanation to this. But yeah, that's my last lesson from what I've learned from this 36-hour fast. Thank you for watching. I'm really late on my schedule. I'll be posting another video this week, and that's going to be on mental models, one of my favorite mental models, in fact. So yeah, I'm looking forward to put that up. I'll see you soon. Bye.